Alright, so welcome to the 737 cockpit. You've got your control column here. Just have a feel for that, moving it left and right to full extent. Now, that's how we roll the aeroplane left and right. If you push the control column into the dash, do that now, that brings the nose down. If you pull it towards you, any guesses where that's going to go?
Upward,
nose up.
Upward hope.
Correct, exactly right. Provided we're fast enough not to stall. So that... And that's the radio button as well. Plays automatically if we touch it just on the back there, but that's okay. It's just on the back, I think, on that side there.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right. Now, those rudder pedals that you've got your feet on, just push your right foot in, just to feel for that. And now push your left foot in. So what that controls is, that's the rudder, which is that fin on the tail. We only really use that when we're taking off and landing for basically directional control. So it also turns the nose wheel about 8 degrees. So we don't really use it so much when we're flying because this is a very stable aeroplane. But during takeoff and landing, you won't actually be using your hands, you're using your feet. So right is right, left is left. Correct sense. Make sense?
Yep.
Cool. On those pedals as well, if you slide your feet up to the top of them and then stab your toes forward, you'll find two secondary pedals which are very spongy and they're quite slow to push back. Can you feel them?
Oh yes.
Yep. Those are the brake pedals. So we'll use that when we, really only when we come to a stop at the very end. If we want to stop on the ground anywhere, that brings the wheel brakes on.
Oh.
Cool. Next we've also got a few controls in the middle here, or a throttle quadrant. First we've got the two thrust levers. These are used together in tandem. So what I'll get you to do is bring both of these forward about a quarter, so just a little bit, and then stop. Looking at the engine instrument, you'll see there's a white arc on the outside, indicating where the power will set to, and the needle is where the actual engine spool is currently spooled up to. And you can see now also in numbers, it's actually now powered up at 48%. Just bring both thrust levers back to idle. You'll see it'll set to 2 or 20%. And then you can see it takes a bit of time for the engines to spool up and spool down. Cool. We've also got a few devices that help us stop when we come into our full stop landings. First is the auto brake. So this applies automatic braking through the wheels. So that when we touch down, say if you have it on 2 or on maximum, it'll automatically start applying braking through the wheels. It's a bit like ABS, but it's set for contact with the ground. What I will get you to do now is actually turn this over to rejected takeoff. So that setting means that if we abort the takeoff, it'll also have the same effect without us actually having to get airborne. It'll just start applying braking through the wheels. We also have aerodynamic braking, or the speed brakes. So when you're flying on a jet, you notice when you land, you see those panels that pop up on the wings. That's controlled through this. To arm it, we lift up the lever, and then we bring it towards us about 1 centimetre, just to the armed notch here. And you'll notice once it's secured there, there's also a green speed brake arm light that's illuminated. Have a go at arming that now. It's good. There you go. Now once we touch down with this armed, this is actually going to automatically fly back, like so, indicating two things. That we've landed, and then that speed brake has deployed. To disarm it, just push that all the way forward. Finally, we then have our engine braking, or our reverse thrusters, and these are probably the most fun because they make a lot of noise. Just have a go at them now, just lifting them up to engage. And you can see on the instruments, they come up a lot quicker than the main engines going forward, but they only go up to about 60%, and then back down to disengage. Yeah. It's quite common to have people grabbing them when we don't actually need to use them. Like when we land and then take off again, which we'll do for the first one. Yeah, people often go for that first. Alright, we've also got the flap lever. Now, do either of you guys know what the flaps are on a plane?
Oh, they're on the wings and
Yep.
they come out of the wing and then go up and down.
Yeah, that's right. You've got leading edge flaps and trailing edge. The leading edge flaps are the ones that extend forward.
Makes the wing longer and creates more lift.
Correct, exactly right. So it changes the shape of the wing by bringing more of a curve to it, increasing the camber, and basically increases lift as a result, but also drag. Just means we can actually fly at lower speeds without stalling, particularly for landing. But they also are helpful for takeoff, so we'll actually be taking off with 5 degrees flaps, but then we'll be cruising along with 0, because obviously less drag, more efficient use of fuel. To use this lever, although it's a first officer control, as with the landing gear, I'm going to get you to use these, so pushing all the work on you, making my life easier. To use the flap lever, we've got to lift it up, much like the speed brake, and then move it to the desired notch. But you'll notice at 1 and at 15, if I'm holding it up and I try to move it past 1 or 15, it stops. There's a safety gate there. To get through these, you've actually got to bring it to the gate, release it into the notch, and then lift it out the other side. Have a go now bringing this down to 30 degrees, which is our landing setting.
What? 30 degrees?
Yep. Drop it in, yep, and then a little bit further. That's it, just there. And now bring it back to 5 degrees. Very good. So you can see it's a little bit fiddly, and as you'll be concentrating outside the cockpit or on the screens, I'll help you with that a bit, but that's the flaps. Next we've got the landing gear. Now don't worry, there's a safety switch in there so that it won't actually function on the ground. But the first time I saw a guy do this, I nearly had a heart attack. I was like, what are you doing? In my light aircraft, we wouldn't play around with this. But to use this, so we basically, just like these levers as well, we've got to pull it out to unlock it. And while holding it, we then bring it up and then release. And to bring it down, same again, pull it out, holding it, bring it down. And then it's down. Have a go now. Yep. And then bring it down.
So that's
That's in
gears
the,
what? Down?
yeah, that's in the up position. So up for up and down for down. So
Okay.
the reason the red lights are showing is that because we're on the ground, it's not actually engaging the hydraulics. So it's just saying that, yep, I know you want to put the gear up, but we're not moving anywhere. There's a problem, and the problem is that we're on the ground. So,
Okay,
yep.
do it.
But I have had gear problems in this plane where that just stays red, and you've just got to deal with it. Yep, that's it. Cool. All right, those are basically the controls. The last thing I haven't shown you is that this is the park brake. That's off and that's on, although it's actually not functional at the moment, so it's a bit of an aesthetic at the moment for the time being. But these trim wheels, and you might remember this from when we went flying. Normally I use them manually in the middle, but I have an electric trim switch for this aircraft. It's a little bit more sophisticated than the Cherokee that we took out to Ginevine. These will move automatically, so don't be too distracted by them. That's just me basically making adjustments here to make your life easier. I don't suppose you know what the trim actually does or how it helps you?
No.
Okay, that's where I'll explain it. So with the elevators, we move these up and down. So say for instance when we go to climb, we're going to pull this back to about there. It takes a bit of muscle and energy to hold there, a fair bit of tension in your arms, which means it's also very hard to control the roll because it's through the same control, right? Whereas if I trim this back, what that's doing is it's permanently moving tabs on the elevator so that this position of the elevator is achieved from the central position. So that means then you don't need to actually be, not required to be holding it back to maintain climb because I've trimmed it. And that means you can make more delicate control movements on the rolling plane. So don't worry too much about it, just for your own knowledge. I'll be taking care of the trim.
Right.
Cool.
Thank you.
That's it, no worries. It's probably the most feeler control in any airplane to manage. Very effective, but just a pain in the ass. All right, so any questions on the controls that we've covered? No, cool. All right, next I'm going to go through the instruments. So in front of us here, you'll notice that, again, more sophisticated than a Cherokee. We've got two mirrored screens on both sides. On the inside, we've got our navigation display, which is actually pretty similar to the GPS system that we were using. Now, in here, if you can look at yours or mine, whatever's easiest for you. There's a triangle in the middle.
Yep.
That triangle is our position. Do you see there's a line above it, which has a 5 halfway through, leading to a 170 mag?
Yep.
That's our bearing line, indicating our track, which is currently 170 degrees. And you'll notice here on the outside, there's actually the numbers of a compass or a directional indicator. Now, in front of the triangle in the middle, back in the center, there are two white parallel lines. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yep. That's actually the runway. And if you look outside here, we've actually got the runway starting here, extending to the left for Honolulu. So that's the runway. You'll notice also either end of the runway has a white broken line extended. This, yep, this is the extended center line of the runway. Particularly handy for orienting ourselves. With this airplane, again, unlike light aircraft which have fairly good observation through the windows, we barely have 180 degrees of view. So when we're coming into land, we'll be vectoring in to turn to final, and before we make our final turn towards the runway, you won't actually be able to see it over your blind spot. But we can use this to position ourselves and plan our turn so that we get this triangle and this bearing line onto the final approach line of the runway. Same when we take off. I can't just look over my shoulder to see where the runway is here. We'll want to be wanting to try and keep this line and that arrow, that triangle, on that center line so that we're in the correct position from the runway. I'll be monitoring it and I'll be giving you feedback on it throughout, but for your own reference you can look at it as well and judge yourself. The heading bug here, this pink line that I'm moving around now, you can see on the, that's just something that I'm going to use to direct you on flight. So instead of saying turn towards that mountain or that boat over there, I might actually say, Stephen, I want you to turn or heading of 170. So I'll just set it there and then I'll get you to follow it. Okay. Next, we've got the primary flight display, and this is the last of the critical functions I'm going to, or features of the cockpit I'm going to explain to you. That's on the outside here. So, in the Cherokee and in any light aircraft you've ever been in, we normally have those 6 dials that are all lined up. So your altitude, your speed, etc., etc. This is all on the one screen. On the left side, you see where it's got 45 and a speed tape?
Yep.
That's the airspeed indicator. So that only registers once we pass 45 knots. Most of our speed will actually be controlled through the auto throttle. So it's like cruise control. So you actually just set a speed here, and the thrust levers are going to move automatically to match that speed. Next in the middle is our artificial horizon. It's a digital image of what we can see outside. Blue for sky, brown for ground. It gives us pitch information. So in the middle, you see these horizontal lines that are going top to bottom.
Yep.
That grades basically our attitude up and down. And at the top, you'll see there are lines in an arc formation.
Yep.
That indicates our angle of bank. So how steep we're turning. In the very center, there's a black square. See that?
Yep.
That's our nose. To take off, we're going to bring that little square up to 15 degrees, which is 2 notches above the 10. Now, to fly straight and level, we need to have this up a little bit above 0, actually at 3.5 degrees, right between the first and second line above the horizon. On your screen, just point to where you think 3.5 degrees is. Good, that's it, perfect. And where's 15 degrees?
15 big, that one there.
Perfect, that's good. Just above 15 degrees, you see there's a hollow triangle as well? Good. That's our angle of bank indicator. So that's going to point left and right, depending on which way we're turning, to those lines above it. When it's directly as it is now, underneath the white arrow, that means we're level. So that's 0 degrees angle of bank, we're flying in a straight line and we're not turning. And you'll also see that there are these 2 black lines here, which are the wings. So these will always be perpendicular to that hollow triangle. And again, you can check this is in line with the white, and these wings are in line with the horizon, and that means we're flying straight. But more importantly, these lines, these are set in 10 degree increments, up to 30 degrees. You notice the 2 on the edges, the third one each side. Notice they're a bit taller. Those taller lines are 30 degrees each. It's pretty cool with the planes, isn't it? They're distracting, yeah, I get it. These 30 degree lines, that's basically the maximum bank angle that we want to pull. Although the airplane can take it, I know Justin will have a good time if we do some steepies, the actual passengers won't like it. So coercively we'll be sending you at the back with a mop.
Haven't we got stewardesses for that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Justin?
No. First officer.
Huh?
First officer,
Yeah.
or at least the flight engineer.
Yeah, I already promoted you to the first officer, and that's the engineer seat, so... That's cool. Alright. So finally on the right here we have our altimeter, which gives us our height above mean sea level, presently indicating about 20 feet above the ocean. And I'm going to set my altitude bug to 3,000, which is just this one here. That's just the target altitude that we're going to use for today. Right, how you going?
Good.
Good?
Right.
Taking it in?
Now, where do we start?
Alright, that's it. Those are basically things that I normally go through to flight, but that's all you need to know. It's probably even more than you need. But the rest of the panels I'll just go through in flight as we get time. Did you want a bit of a run through on them now, or do you just want to go flying?
Well, they're in the video.
Yep. Yeah, good.
That was just fuel and whatever what they were now, electricity,
One of them was a neon underlighting, I
air
think.
conditioning.
Just along the front.
Well, what we can even do is I'll actually go through some of the switches with you as we get the airplane ready for takeoff. So what we're going to do is, firstly, we're going to turn our lights on. So these 4 switches here, get you to turn them forward to on. Very good.
And now the subwoofer.
That's right. And we've got our ground lights. You can bring these 3 up to off. And the taxi off as well. That's very good. Up here we've got our cabin communications. Fasten seatbelt sign. I'll get you to cycle this off and on again. So every airline has slightly different procedures, but Jetstar, as an example, they use that system where they'll actually cycle the fasten seatbelt sign off and on just before they take off, so the cabin crew know where they are and that they're about to go flying. So they're doing their final check, securing all cabin doors. Press this button here, the little black one. On a real aeroplane, that'll get you coffee, or an attendant to come up here to bring you coffee. The one time it worked was when I actually brought my own coffee in, so it doesn't actually function. It's in the next upgrade. We've also got our anti-icing to stop the engines, wings and the windows from icing up. Cockpit voice recorder, external lights, which I'll switch on from my side, pressurization panel, and also our engine bleeds as well.
The CVR, is that actually stored within the panel?
So the cockpit voice recorder is, yes, that's right. But it feeds information, obviously, back to the black box
Yep.
in the rear.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just the sensor. That's the receiver. But you're right. It would be a pretty stupid place to put the black box.
Yeah.
It's the first thing that goes, boom.
Yep.
That's right. Good pickup. Now, moving across, we've got the mode control panel, which is actually how we control our autopilot. We're really only going to use the airspeed and the... No, that's it. We're just really going to be using the auto throttle feature here, so we can control that. Now, moving further down, we've got our engine instruments, including fuel, and also our engine power statuses. Throttle quadrant we've already gone through. You briefly saw on the video about the flight management computer, which is really just the brains of the airplane, and there's sort of lots of buttons to press in there, but I won't bore you with that. And finally, we've got our pedestal panel, which is all our radio communications and navigational aids as well. I'll get you to actually turn the transponder all the way to the right to TAR8. This is how air traffic control can actually see us on their radar. So we turn that transponder on, and our code selected for today is 007. Just always seems to reset to that. Someone likes James Bond. And that's basically how our radar will know who we are on their map. Cool. All right. Let's get on with the fun bit now. We've had plenty of talking in the cockpit now. As tired as you are of listening, I'm probably also a bit tired of talking. Now, what I'll get you to do is put your left hand on that steering wheel that's in the wall. Next one. That's actually what we use on the ground for steering at slow speed. Turns the nose wheel about 80 degrees. It's good for very low speed. Push it forward. That turns right. Pull it back. That turns left. Cool. All right. It's very sensitive, so you'll want very slow movements with it. If you look outside here, can you see the yellow line?
Yep.
That's what we want to be on to taxi towards the runway. However, you notice it's a bit offset. The center of the nose is actually just about here on this notch. So if you can keep that yellow line on this notch here, that'll be centered. Okay?
Okay.
And that's from where you're sitting, relaxing your seat. But if you look across over that notch, whatever you see on the screen above that notch there will be the center of the airplane. So I'm going to take your park brake off. I'll get you to bring your power now up to 40%. So just bring these two forward to the 4. That's good. And looking outside, using your tiller steering wheel to keep on that yellow line. I'm going to be turning left. That's it. You see, it's very sensitive. And then lining up with that white line there. And there's Honolulu. Looks a bit more familiar, like Hawaii now. Yeah, it's very, very sensitive. Alright, that's good. And now you can put both hands on the control column now. I'll get your left hand on the control column as well. That's good. So now we're just going to use our feet for steering. Now from here, I want you to press N1. Right hand, N1. That engages the auto throttle. Rest your right hand on the thrust lever here. As captain, you're going to keep an eye outside, keeping your feet, keeping on that center white line. Relax your right hand so that the thrust lever can move forward. Now, when I call out V1 rotate, we're going to take off. So just keep your right hand on here for now. And at V1 rotate, your eyes will come inside. You're going to pull back 15 degrees. So both hands on the control column now. Yep. And V1 rotate. Eyes inside, looking at the blue and brown. Pull back nice and hard. Bring that nose up to 15 degrees. Pull back, pull back. That's it. Keep coming. That's good. Holding it at 15 degrees between the 10 and the 20. That's it. Holding it there, holding it there. Push forward a little bit just to keep it down. And positive rate, gear up. Yep, yep. That's it. Very good. As we pass through 1,000 feet now, push the nose down to 10 degrees.
As we pass through what?
Just now, go down to 10. We've just climbed through 1,000 feet, so that's good. So you know how when you're flying the jets, they climb and then they taper off a little bit? Just as they clear terrain, then they lower the nose so they can get more speed up. I'll get you now to bring your flaps up to 1.
Flaps up to 1.
Yep, so lift it up. That's it. And now bring flaps all the way up to 0. Yep, very good. Is that the first time you've taken off a jet, Steve?
Definitely.
Yeah? How'd you find it?
All right, because we seem to have a mountain in front of us.
We do have a mountain in front of us, well identified. That's right, we're climbing ahead of it. And we're going to level up at 3,000 feet. So from now, push forward. Push forward now, just to get down to 3.5 degrees.
Into 3.5.
Just underneath of about there. That's it, perfect. All right, so we're going to start with a right turn. So what I want you to do is have a look outside. looking outside, we're going to turn 180 degrees all the way back towards the runway. Now, as you turn to the right now, so banks to the right, looking at the horizon, and I want you to tell me what the nose is doing. So as you turn, increase your turn, what's the airplane doing?
The nose is dropping.
It is, so it means we've got to pull up a little bit to hold the altitude. So 3.5 degrees is our level attitude, but for the turn we want to be at 5 degrees. So pull back now, so that square is matching on that second line above the horizon. Just there, that's it. And then relax, holding it just there. Very good. Just ease it forward a little bit. Just so that square is right, that's it, right there. So you notice that a lot of the flying is actually done on the computer screens, not even outside. So you really don't get to enjoy much of it until you put the autopilot on. But you can see at 5 degrees, we're holding our 3,000 feet nicely. That's good. And what we're doing is we're turning all the way onto this pink line here. So you sort of develop a bit of a scan cycle where we're basically monitoring this, keeping it on that line there. So to hold this, and if you hold this, you'll maintain your height. We want this to be about 20 degrees. At the moment we're about 15 degrees, so you can turn a little bit steeper if you want. And then every so often glancing at the pink line to make sure that we haven't overshot our target heading.
Are we there now? Is that?
Still going. So we want this pink line to match up with our current heading. So
we want that.
yeah, that's it. Yeah. So when you get about two white tabs before the pink line, that's when you want to start rounding out. If you look at some of the visuals there, the sun looks quite nice on the ocean.
We didn't hit any birds on the way up, which is good.
No, it's a good start, isn't it? Yeah.
Well done, Dad. Well done.
That's right. And we're
Okay.
approaching that pink line now. So start to roll left now to level out. Yep, that's good. Very nicely done. Keep going. Yep. And then push the nose forward as you do that as well to get back to 3.5 degrees. So there, that's good. Then roll right. That's it. That's it. That's good. Nice and gentle movements. More to the right now. So, and then raise the nose. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it for you so that you don't have to adjust it too much. Now holding it there, are you pulling or pushing to hold it there? That's neutral.
I'm not touching.
That's good.
that.
That's good. That's perfect. That's what we want. So we want it to hold just in between those two lines. That should be it right there. Very good. Cool. So now that we've got a minute, I'm just going to explain to you the landing sequence. So just to orient yourself, we're flying in this direction here. This is the runway. We're going to be flying downwind and then turning around back towards it. When we are flying towards the runway to land, you're going to keep it, again, just over this little notch here, just above your right leg. Just raise that nose a bit. Just lost a bit of height. So you want it to be just above your right leg and about 1/3 up on the window. Now, close to when we land, you're actually going to hear the aeroplane talk to you. It's actually going to tell you how high you are. When you hear it say 50, that's when we're going to actually cut the power and we're going to touch down. So 50 feet is when we flare.
Pull up, terrain.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, actually, I've got a button here I can press, which is really distracting and tests every error message.
Do we have the time? No.
There you go.
Yep. What's the one when TCAS gives a warning?
It's got that same siren. Yeah, depending on the system, it has the same siren, but sometimes it'll have a voice or like a verbal warning as well.
Bank angle. Well, what does it actually say for the TCAS?
This one doesn't say anything.
Pull up.
Yeah, it could give you an indication of where to go, but I know that the ones I've heard on the radio, like when the airplanes are looking for me, like a Virgin ATR, like a regional airplane or a Qantas plane, they go, yep, Tango Alpha request position, and as they make their radio call, you can actually hear whoop 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 whoop. So they just get warning and visuals saying up, someone's nearby. All right, so I'll get you now, Stephen, to turn towards the runway. So see this white broken line? You turn towards that. As you turn, and we're going to descend at 2,000 feet as well. So as you turn, you can lower the nose a bit, just so the square is on the horizon. Just like that. Perfect. Just there. That's good. So hold that on the horizon there. As you turn, you can see this white vector line here. This is a projection of where we're going. So we basically want this to angle and join at a tangent onto this final approach line so that it curves and joins it smoothly. So you can control that by how steeply you're turning. Now, raise the nose a bit now to pull up. We'll bring it back to 5 degrees to hold 2,000 feet. There, keep pulling back a little bit more, that's it. Just on there, perfect, that's it. As we're turning, see how this is cutting through the line? We want to turn a little bit steeper, so just turn slowly right. And this, we want this to basically, that's it. So see, you can imagine that if this extended, it would join onto that line so that we're smoothly rolling onto final approach, and then we can just level the wings and we'll be facing the runway. So
What's
that's
the angle of bank at the
one.
moment?
Angle of bank now is 15 degrees. Yeah. So you can see there that indicates 0. And then the first 3 reticles are 10, 20 and 30 or 10 degree increments. The next one is 45 degrees, which is for steep turns. And that one is 60.
Hmm.
Yeah. They're the ones that we play with.
Yep.
Yep. Stephen, I'll get you to bring the flaps out to 5. Yep, that's it. And bring your speed, turn this now down to 160. That's good, yep. And continue to turn, just increase your angle of bank a little bit more. Keep turning, that's good. Doing well. So this first landing is going to be a touch and go. So don't get too excited with the reverse thrusters, we're not stopping yet. So we'll be touching down and then taking off again. Keep the turn going a little bit more, that's it. And you can actually see those red lights just on the island just there?
Yeah.
That's the runway. So the runway's just next to it. And those red lights are the aim point. So keep turning a little bit more, keep turning towards it. More to the right, so just over here. And you can also bring your landing gear down. Very good, and set speed 150. Good. And once we get 3 greens, then you can also bring your flaps down to 15. Do that now. Now, as we extend the flaps, you'll notice the nose is actually going to pitch up as we get more lift. So you can see, if you look outside now, see how the nose is coming up again. So just push forward, just to keep that nose down under control. And as you can start to see the runway a little bit more clearly, can you see the actual black runway next to the red light?
Yeah.
Yep. So just start turning left towards it, because we're well positioned on the runway centre line. We just want to be basically facing directly down it. And you can see here, turn right a little bit now. When this is 80, that's lined up, that's good. Just push forward a little bit more. Set flaps to 30. That's it. And speed to 142. I've got the speed. And then come a little bit more to the left. Just gently, that's it. And okay, that's good. Remember at 50 feet, do you know what to do? Cut the power, and we'll gently touch down, then we're going to take off again.
Yeah.
Then just come a little bit to the left, keeping the center of that runway just above your right leg. And you can rest your right hand on the thrust lever now. So if you think we're going a bit slow or a bit low, you can increase power.
I don't know, what are we?
That's right, we're doing well right now, so I'm happy with you leave it where it is. So you can see these yellow lights. They change colour depending if we're high or low. Red is low, yellow is high. So we're at a good height though. It's better to be higher than lower. And yeah, that's it, it's good. Doing well. Just small movements, it's okay. Just relax, a little bit more left, just gently left. Gently left. And power back 1 inch. Yep. Yep, nose down a little bit. That's it. And then start to raise the nose a little bit, pull up, just gently. Pull up, yep, gently pull up. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. cut power, back, yep, that's right. And I'll get flaps to 15, and now, yep, go full power now. Full power,
Full
now we'll
power.
take, that's it, it's good. And both hands on the controls, and V1, rotate, pulling back nice and hard.
Eh?
Pull up on the control column, that's it. Yep, I understand the ambiguity of pull up or pull back when we're talking about throttle and control column, so fair enough. Bring your landing gear up. It's good. Very good, and now push the nose down to 10 degrees. Yeah, it's annoying.
How high were we clear for takeoff?
Yeah, that's right.
500 meters?
It's like a formality.
Yeah.
Continue going to 10 degrees, that's good. That's it. Very good. How'd you find that?
It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun? Yeah, good.
Except you're so busy concentrating on everything.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. No, you did well. That was done very well. You know, to be honest, I normally take a lot more control at that point, so I didn't have to do much of that though. Bring nose down to 3.5 degrees, just about there. Now what I'm going to get you to do is make a left turn. Just start turning to the left until I say where to turn to. Just see these mountains here? We need to aim for a bit of a saddle there. There's a valley just out to the left there, so aim for that. And I'll get you some more information about where we're going. PHNG. Alright, in fact what I'll even get you to do is make a... Alright, let's make a right. See this saddle here? We're going to be turning through that, but actually correction that, we'll go through this one here, just there. That's it. He's right, not too steep. It's good. Now there's actually a runway straight ahead of us on the other side of this bit of terrain here. So what I'll get you to do is get you to make a hard left turn now. So just stay on the inside of that mountain. I'll get your auto brakes to maximum. That's it, yes. Yep.
That's it. Oh.
That's it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a bit of a dog leg. So start turning, keep turning to the left here. And now what we're going to do is now turn. This is going to be interesting. Now turn to the right. And lower the nose a bit. Just holding it there. That's good. Bring your landing gear down. That's it. Very good. And then raise the nose a bit as you turn. So we're going to be coming hot in for this approach. The runway's going to be very close, so if you need to go around, that's okay. In fact, that's it. Rolling's level to the left now.
Where's the runway?
That's all right, it's just ahead of us, but we might just go around. Just turn left a little bit more. And lower the nose, bring it down. That's all right, that's good. And then come around to the right now, turn right. Alrighty. So it wasn't quite as sophisticated as approach as I was hoping. That first valley that we passed, that gives us a really nice approach straight through here. So maybe we've got a few options. We've got, so raise the nose. Well, actually, I think we might as well make that. That's good. Done well. Raise the nose a bit more. Keep pulling up, and then let go a bit. Let go. Ease back. That's it. And then raise the nose and reverse thrusters, go. Yep. These ones. Oh, okay, disregard that. We're going to go around. Ready, everyone again? That's right. That's good. We've just experienced our first emergency procedure. So that's good.
Just missed the airport.
Yeah, that's right. That's all good. Okay, so what we'll do. What I'll do is with your left hand, just see underneath your left index finger. See that switch? Yeah, just try to avoid pressing that because it sets off the radio guy every time you press it.
Oh, have I been pressing it, have I?
Yeah, that's right. I don't normally pull people up on it, but because we're going to be here for a while, we may as well get rid of him. It's a silly feature they've programmed in to sort of, I don't know how it's meant to work, to be honest.
Add some realism.
Yeah, that's right, something like that. Okay, now lower the nose. And we're now holding it just in the middle there at 5 degrees. Now make a left turn, and we're going to come around to attempt that landing again. And I'll give you a better approach this time. So come around to the left. And what you can even do is hold the nose just on the horizon. We're going to descend down to 1,500. Back correction, hold that down to 2,000. So just hold it on the horizon. That's good. And we're going to turn onto this pink line again as well. There's 2,000, raise the nose. Yep. In fact, if you hold 1,500 is okay, I'm happy with that. It's actually what the real airliners fly circuits at as well. We add a little bit more of a buffer so you've got a chance to react and see things. So. Keep the turn coming a bit more to the left. So, on this pink line. I'll reduce that back pressure with some trim for you because I see you're probably working pretty hard with your arms there. There you go, that's better. How's that?
Yeah, so we're bringing that pink line up to the white line.
Yeah, that's right, correct.
Right.
And then what we'll do is continue to turn to the left. So we'll turn on to 180, just under the pink line there, that's good. And now, that's good. And then roll wings to the right now. That's good. Push the nose forward a bit. That's it. Roll to the right, turn right now, turn right. Push forward. That's good. Alright. So over your left side, can you see the runway just out there as well? In the water there, no? That's right, it's probably just out of view. That's okay. It's just over your left shoulder, and you can actually see it here. So we're going to go up a bit, then we're going to turn back on it. So although it'll be quite close, we'll be a lot better than last time. So because we're a lot lower. So now what I'll get you to do is start to make that left turn towards the runway. And then ease right a bit, just hold off there, hold off there, hold off there. Yeah. So we'll still be fairly close, but we're a lot lower, so it'll be a bit easier to control. Ease right a bit. Try and keep this vector line disconnected with the final approach. Ease right a bit more. That's good. And you can actually see, I think they got the runway out our left side there now. So see those bright lights in the water there? Yeah. That's actually the start of the runway there. So we're going to be continuing around. That's good. Doing well. Good. That's it. So what we're going to do, just looking outside, do you see the lights in the water? We're going to go straight here for a bit, and then we're going to arc around so that we line up with the runway there. In fact, continue turning left now. That's good. They've turned the brightness on the free X's down since I last worked in. It's actually even harder for me to see stuff now. That's it. Roll wings level there. Just turn right. And the runway. That's it. I'm going to fly visually now from what we can see outside. You see those green lights at the start of the land there? That's it. I just brought, that's right, I've brought the flaps out, so that's creating that extra lift. Push forward to counter it, yep. That's it, that's good. And the kick between the left, a bit more to the left. And you can see now it's starting to be a little bit more obvious. See the runway now?
Yeah.
That's it, yep, good. Keep turning left, that's it. That's it, keep coming around. Auto brake set, speed brake set, pre-landing checklist complete. Push forward a little bit more, push forward. Keep turning left a bit more, keep turning left a bit more. And now roll wings right and raise the nose a bit. That's good, hold it there, that's good, that's good. Right hand on the thrust levers. And when you're 50, bring them down. Yep, cut power to idle. Yep, that's it. Now reverse thrusters, bring these two guys on. These two, these two, that's it. That's it, yep, good, good. Just using your feet for steering now, switching to rudders. Good, and reverse thrusters disengage. Very good. All right, excellent. How'd you find that?
I think it was a little bit of a wiggly one, was it not?
Look, it was definitely a more advanced approach, like the
priority approach.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Alrighty, so now I'm going to go to something a little more familiar. It's up to you whether you're ready for it or not. But so turns out the Lay airstrip, the airfield that you were talking about, that's actually got closed down a while ago. And it's actually not on our database. Yeah, so the airstrip's not. It's closed. It's not there anymore. But
that's what got houses on it.
Yeah, possibly. Do
or cows and sheep.
Yeah. So this one here, this one is Nadzab. So out to the north here, you can actually see the mountains there. So actually, wait a second. Yeah, that's right. So the north we've got the mountains there. So what we're going to be doing is taking off to the west. We'll make a right turn, and then we'll see if we can do a bit of canyon flying. Sound good?
Yep.
How's that for a 737? Cool. All right, I'll get you to turn these two fuel pumps up to off. Do that by pulling it out and then bringing it up. That's it. So we ran out of fuel in the central tank, but the left and right tanks each have 3.5 tons, so we've got plenty of fuel to spare. For this takeoff as well, because it's a fairly narrow runway, fairly short runway more importantly, we'll be using manual full thrust. So I'll get you to now bring the thrust levers up to 40% initially, so just up to the 4 here. And then, yep, and then all the way forward to 95%. Yep. Very good. And now keeping your right hand on that thrust lever there, looking outside, using your feet if you need to adjust to keep straight, but it should be fairly centered. See, it's a very narrow runway, it's about 30 meters. And I have 80, check. And both hands on the control column now. And V1, rotate. Pulling up nice and hard. Looking 15 degrees inside. Holding 15 degrees and gear up. Holding 15 degrees, a little bit lower. Now, as you can see, we're passing now 1,000 feet. Now you can lower the nose to 10 degrees. Do that now. That's it.
V1 is the speed where you can't abort the landing anymore, isn't it?
The takeoff,
sorry, yeah.
That's exactly right. And it's just a fraction before rotate. And the interesting thing about V1 is that the worst possible time you can have an engine failure is V1. Because once you hit V1, you're committed. And if you have a failed engine, you've got full thrust, you can't just abort the takeoff. You're committed to take off with one engine. And it's pretty messy because the plane just starts on these ones, and you're so close to the ground, you're so slow.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now we're still climbing, right?
Yep, that's it. We're going to climb up to 4,000 feet. And what I'll even get you to do is start to make a right turn now. So turn right, roughly 90 degrees onto a heading of 0, 0, 0. And as you climb, and you're turning at the same time, so still hold 10 degrees for a bit longer. And we're going to find those mountain ranges that you may recall. How's it look out there compared to Palpa?
It's always looked like jungle.
Yeah, that's right. And then now lower the nose down to 5 degrees as we get to 4,000 feet. And then we're going to continue turning. We're going to try and find a valley somewhere, and I'll get you to help me finding one. You can see where this cloud is. There might be one there, but I'm going to let you navigate it. So just continue turning until we get maybe a nice low saddle in the terrain. And we're going to use that to then infiltrate into the mountain range. All right. And roll out whenever you're ready. I'd roll out now. Yep. And what I found the other day was that, see where this cloud is here? I think there's a nice little river system there, or ravine, that we can use to fly through. And are you pulling back much on the control column? Maybe some trim. It's good, yep. Cool, got it. Alright, so what we'll do is we're going to fly forward here, and then you can turn left through one of these valleys here. You can either go straight ahead or go around to the left here. Just enjoy some of the terrain, but try not to hit it, so don't get too personal with it. Just to save time, when I was testing this the other day, I actually had it set on 4 times speed, so you end up rocketing through the canyons like a fighter jet.
In a 737.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. Starting to look a bit like Lay.
Looks like New Guinea, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm touching the button again.
Ah, that's all right. He's not talking over me this time, so that's okay. And you can either continue straight ahead, or if you want to continue around to the right here, we can see if we can sort of try and navigate our way back to the airport as well. So, if I'm not mistaken, Lay is about 160 miles, or call it, what's that?
255 Ks.
255 kilometres away from Port Moresby. Yeah. Is that what you were going for? Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you got the conversion, which is good. Yeah.
In a straight line.
Yeah. That's right. Exactly. exactly right.
Well, that's your job, Dad.
But there's a few hills in between.
That's right. So what we can do is we can either go back. We will do at least one landing at so I can pronounce it right again. Nadzab. Yeah, Nadzab. And we can either do one or two there with a stop, or you can do one there, and then if you want, I can throw on the increased speed, and we can actually do a landing. We can do a short sector over to Port Moresby if you want.
Yeah?
Yep.
So we appear to be stuck in the mountains at the moment.
Yeah, so if you think you're a bit stuck, you can always climb up. So you can increase your speed. I've got the power set to manual at the moment, so you might want to increase both power levers to climb up a bit before we lose too much speed. That's it.
Gun it, Dad, gun it.
That's it. Exactly. And you've got a nice valley opening just over there. To give you a bit of navigation assistance as well, that's the airport we want to be. So although I can't give you any mountain terrain here, I can at least show you reference to where you want to go. So through that saddle there could help. Again, you can always climb over the top of it, but the lower you are, the easier it'll be to descend again when we do get back to the airport.
Moment I can't tell where the hell.
What you can do is make a lower the nose. So see how close this mountain is. Push forward a bit. That's it. Yeah, okay, there you go. See, then you can lower the nose to sort of see a little bit better what's ahead of you. In fact,
That's not always a good idea.
well, yeah,
Tickliff.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. If you know there's something there or you don't know that something's there, good practice even in a light aircraft when we're climbing is every 500 feet of climb, we actually lower the nose just to see what's beneath us. Because ideally you've seen what's in front of you before you started climbing. And although we didn't do it, before you turn, generally you also look in the direction you're turning so that you can observe what you may be running into. Yeah. It's good.
Is that mountain a bit close on the
It's a little bit close, that's okay. You can see there's a lot of cloud out there, isn't there?
You don't fly into cloud.
What's that?
You don't fly into clouds in New Guinea.
No, you don't. Well, what did the pilots tell you about that?
They're solid.
Ice or thick?
Dirt. Rock.
Yeah, yep. That's right.
You either go over the top, underneath, or around.
Yeah, actually, my friend who's an A380 pilot for Qantas, he flew 3 months in New Guinea, and they wouldn't recognise his instrument rating. They just said, sorry, Australian instrument rules, the rules of how you fly through clouds don't apply here. So keep the turn coming. In fact, if you turn onto that pink line there, that'll give you a nice approach towards the runway. So yeah, let's apply the same ideas that we know about in Papua New Guinea. We're not going to touch this cloud because you're right, no mountains run underneath them. But what I do know is out towards that green opening there, that's where the runway is, because you may recall when we took off there were no clouds near the airstrip. And you can see roughly if we position and orient ourselves to where the airport is, over our right window here, you can see there's a big cloud-free patch of sky, which is good. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be descending down through the gap between the clouds, just so we can avoid any terrain. And I'm going to continue looking for the runway. So your job is going to be to navigate us through these clouds and descending once we can. In fact, I'll probably even start looking for a hole to the right here now. The runway is actually kind of just, it's about 15 miles out to the right, and we're about 11,000 feet, so we're going to need a bit of time to descend. So we might be circling a little bit as we come in. But here's another question for you now. I mean, we're descending to land at Nadzab. Would you like to land there and then continue to Port Moresby, or do you just want to go to Port Moresby now?
Oh, let's land at Nadzab.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good thing to be able to say you've done.
Hang on, where are we going? We're going the wrong way now, aren't we?
Yep. What's that?
Nadzab is deliberately built in an area where they don't have much cloud.
That's actually quite true. And look ahead of us here. Do you see that big dirt rectangle?
Yeah.
That's the airstrip there. So what we're going to do is we've got to plan our descent. The airport's about 200 feet, almost 0 feet above mean sea level. We're at 10,000 feet. Now we're descending at about 2,000 feet per minute, so it'll take us about 5 minutes to get down. So looking at the distance that we are to the airport, I can tell you right now we're about 10 miles away. We're doing about 300 knots, which I'm going to bring down the speed. Minutes. It'll take us about 2 minutes to get over the airport. So another 3 minutes if we descend at 2,000 feet per minute. So roughly speaking, we're basically going to have time to overfly the airport, and we can either turn left and land or turn right and land. The wind is coming from roughly from the south, so let's actually go around straight ahead, and then we'll circle around to the right and then come in. Okay? So do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yep.
How low are we going before we turn?
That's all right. What we're going to do is we're going to continue past the runway. We want to give us enough spacing so that we can turn back in. I think we'll go to maybe no less than 2,000 feet, but we'll continue straight ahead until we get to just ahead of this first green circle. Okay?
And this is us.
Yep. And see that broken green circle up here?
Yep.
When we get to that, that's when we're going to turn. So just before this green circle, that's when we'll turn right, and then we'll be in a good position to join for the runway.
We don't seem to be getting any closer to it.
Yeah, it's... We're moving, see? There you go. And that's that circle there. Slowly but surely. And for a good smooth descent, we're going to keep this nose bug here just on the horizon. Now while we've got a minute, what I want you to do is have a feel for those rudder pedals. Now I can see you've got your feet still on them. Although we use them only on the ground, you can actually control your yaw or your direction with them. They're a bit more sensitive than the control column. So just have a feel for that, pushing your right foot in, and have a look outside as you do that, what happens. Push your right foot in a bit more. And you can see how it yaws and then it slips. And then now have a go at your left foot as well. So they're basically just a slightly more sensitive but harder to control version of the ailerons or the rolling plane. And again, we only really use that for three things: takeoff and landing, which is one, crosswind, which is another, or also control if we lose an engine. Now we're coming up to that green line now. You can now start to make a right turn. Now I've just got a master caution light that's come on my side. Can you see anything on your side as well? I've got a hydraulic warning, HYD. What have you got on yours?
Flight control.
And electrics. Alright, let's have a look at our panels. So here's that our right engine generator is off. Also got a failure on the engine driven hydraulic pump. Okay, looking at our engine instruments, you can see here that we've got low oil pressure on the engine number 2, right engine. Left engine has full indications. However, right engine, what do you see?
Nothing.
It's dead. So we do appear to have had an engine failure on the right.
Well, what's our engineer doing?
I don't know, she's sitting there with his arms
all.
folded.
Oh, what's going on? Sorry, what?
He's over his duty times. So what we'll do is I'm going to start going through the procedure to get the engines restarted. If we have to land on one engine, so be it, in which case probably we'll stop at Nadzab and get the airplane addressed, but we'll see how we go. Now, first things first, auto throttle is disarmed. Check. Next thing, the dead engine, which is the right engine. We confirm that that right engine lever is down to the cut-off position, and we have the engine starter switch to cut off as well. So if it booms to life, it's not out of our control. You know, it won't throw us out. So at the moment now, we've only got the left engine for power. But luckily, we're on descent, so we're actually not noticing any effects of the failed engine. But what I'll get you to do is, with your right hand, just start advancing the left engine, and as you do that, you'll need to use your left foot to then counteract that asymmetric thrust. So as you increase that power, the plane's going to start going right, and you're increasing your left foot to keep the plane straight. And this is how we fly an airplane that's got a dead engine asymmetrically. See that? That's good. That's really good control. And what we'll do is we'll keep turning towards the runway here. So just start making a turn to the right, and you can even reduce some of your rudder pressure, just so the engine actually assists you with the turn. And auxiliary power unit is on. Going to try and start getting that engine going again. Continue descending, that's good. And alright, now what I'll get you to do is, with this switch here, I want you to push it in and turn it to the left onto ground. That's the starter switch. Yep, that's it, good. Yep, push it in. That's it, let go. That's it, so that's the starter switch. Hopefully getting that engine back online for us. Star valves open, we've got N2 power coming online. Now we're at 20% N2. I want you to pull this out and up to the idle position. That's it, and let go. That's it. And level the wings to the left now. Roll left. And you can see that grassy field ahead of us there. So the correction, it's all grass. See the dirt rectangle field ahead of us?
Yeah.
That's the runway. Alright, good. So that engine's now back online. So crisis averted. We've actually got both engines back online now.
Well done.
Very good. No, well done to you, Captain. Alright, so keep flying towards the runway. Same landing sequence as before. Basically, we're going to be bringing the airplane down to 50 feet, and then we're going to cut the power. I'll get you to also bring your landing gear down. That's good. Start rolling a little bit to the left now, just to line up with the runway. It's a very short runway, so we'll be on the ground only for a short time before we take off again. It's good. Raise our nose a little bit. A little bit more to the right. And then lower the nose a little bit. Just hold it there. That's it. Pull up a little bit. Then come left a bit. That's it. And rest your right hand on the thrust levers now. It's a fairly narrow approach, so just bring that power back. Back towards you. Yep, that's it. Just hold there, hold there. There you go. Keep on that center line, nice and narrow, nice and straight. Pull up a little bit, pull up, just gently, yep, that's it. 50 feet, cut power, down. Yep, that's it. There we are, very good. And flap set 15, a little bit of left foot, now full power, go. Full power, power, yep, that's it, that's good. A little bit of right foot, that's good. It's a very narrow runway, that was a good touchdown. And V1, rotate, pulling back nice and hard. Alright, right engine failure, left foot in, left foot in, left foot in. Nose down slowly, hold your speed. That's it, push forward, push forward, push forward. And I've got gear up and flap up. Alright, so keep a little more left foot, a little more left foot, left foot, left foot, increase. Good. Now, see what we're doing? Just nothing, did I tell you before about a V1 failure?
Yeah.
Yep, that was a V1 failure right there. So we hit V1, we barely got airborne, and then we lost the engine. Yep, sorry, Stephen, what were you saying?
Yeah, I'm saying we're out again.
That's right, exactly right. So we'll go through the same procedure again. I'll get you to do it this time though. So start with your auto throttle down to off. Just confirm, check it's off. Now, auxiliary power unit, flick this forward to on. Okay, very good. Now what we'll also do is turn the auxiliary power unit generators on as well. So bring each of these two switches out one at a time and bring it forward. Yep, and then the next one in here as well. So what that's doing is we're now drawing power from a little engine that's in the tail of the airplane rather than depending on the engines, one of which is dead. And we'll need those APU generators to start the engine again. Now you see how you've released the left rudder? Put a bit more left rudder in, just to keep the airplane straight, just like you did before. You can see that when we've got full thrust, it's a lot harder to control. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to confirm the dead engine. The right lever here, I want you to bring this right lever to idle. That's it. And I'll also get you to bring the starter cutoff switch for 2 out and down a cutoff. Good, very good. Now we're going to continue flying the airplane to Port Moresby because although we've had some engine issues, we didn't have any decent engineers or facilities down at NASDAB. So we're going to continue to Port Moresby where we can get the airplane serviced. So what I'll get you to do is, while you're trying to control the airplane, get a basically parallel and intercept this solid pink line. That's our track to Port Moresby. So at this point, I've been making a radio call out to the local traffic controllers.
So hang on, where the hell are we going?
Yep. So go left a little bit. What we'll do is I'll show you. Sec. All right. See that solid pink line? That's the trip. That's the direction of Port Moresby. So as long as we intercept it along its course, doesn't need to be right away. In fact, I'd even go for 170 where that broken line is. So if you follow this line, we will join it. That's it. Roll wings level now to the right. Bit to the right now. That's it. That's good. All right. And what we'll do is we'll continue climbing up to a cruise height of 20,000 feet. Okay. Now roll left a bit. And we'll try and keep these wings level with the horizon. It's very hard with one engine, but a bit more left foot maybe. That's it. It's good. You sort of want to get to the point where you can hold your left foot in just one position, and then that'll actually keep the plane straight with wings level. How's that going for you there now? That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. So continuing back with our engine restart sequence. So I've made a call to the tower. Pan. Flight experience 556. Departed NASDAB time 20. Suffered engine failure, but we are able to hold height. Tracking now on climb to 20,000 feet for Port Moresby. Request priority. They'd come back. They'd just ask us what we need. We'd tell them how many people got on board. But then we go back to the cockpit. So in terms of getting the engine started, what I'll get you now to do, Stephen, is like with before, I get you to turn this right engine switch here, push it forward and into ground, just up here. That's it. Yep, that's it. Good. And looking in here, we've got start valve open. N2 is increasing again. And then N1 starting to increase also. When this gets to 20%, you can then bring the starter cutoff switch up to idle.
Except
Yep.
we're doing something.
Yeah. It's a lot to juggle, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is why they have two people on these planes.
Good idea.
Yeah. And so get back on your course here as well, so out to the left. And try starting the engine up now as well. So bring this right start switch up to idle. That's it. And just wait for it. Yep, it's coming. That's it. And yep, it's alive, so you can bring that forward. And as you do that, you may need to reduce your rudder pressure as well. There we go, that's good. Now push forward a little bit, just hold 10%, 10 degrees nose attitude. Much better. Very good. Nicely done. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the autopilot, and then we can speed this thing up so that we don't take too long to get to Port Moresby. Alright, we're about 160 miles to go. So what I'll get you to do is continue straight and alrighty, just testing it. Alright, so continue climbing to 20,000 feet. So what I'll get you to do is turn this knob here up until it reads 20,000. So turn to the right, keep turning. It's at 2,000 now, so yep. Good, that's it. Very good. Alright, so that's our target height. Now, our target heading is about 170, or I'll adjust it so that we're paralleling our course. So 164. Now, what I'll get you to do, that's all right, that's fine, don't worry about it. It's all good. Honestly, you're the first one I think I've actually told not to press it, just because I know you personally, so yeah, it's all good. Alright, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to get you to turn the autopilot on. First, what I'm going to get you to press up here is Command Alpha. So press that there. Alright, now I'm going to read out what's changed on the screen. So mode control panel speed, set, turn this up to 400, to the right to 400. I think I might actually only be able to get 340. That's alright. And what we're now also going to do is I'll get you to press LNav, so that's for lateral navigation. And what that's going to do is, it should, if we're on this map here, it should actually take us via the programmed route, which we're not, but that's okay. And vertical navigation, press VNav. Very good. Okay. So now what it's doing is it's basically climbing us up to 20,000 feet. It's going to level us off there. And then it's also going to take us on this bearing.
So it's flying it now.
That's right, yeah, let go. Yeah, that's it. Now I'll show you something. With the heading bug, turn this to the right to 180 and watch what happens. Yep. Okay, and what we'll do is press heading select. There you go. Now, see how you've set 180? It's now turning onto this to follow it. And if I turn the flight director on, we've got this pink line that is here. So that's where the autopilot is being directed to fly to achieve 20,000 feet, your heading and your speed. And this is what airline pilots basically do. From here, we.
So now it's the hostess button.
Yeah, that's right. This one here. There you go.
Come in.
That's right.
3 coffees. Coffee would be lovely. Thank you. Yep. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, if you can forgive them for the coffee, I'm pretty sure McDonald's is still open.
Yeah.
As is the Portos. Actually, I'll leave you guys here. I'll just go grab some and come back. Yeah. So what we're doing is we're going to navigate onto this pink line, and once we get onto that line again, I'm then going to press LNav, and the airplane should then automatically turn back onto the track to follow the autopilot.
So have you got it on?
I've got it on.
Flying itself.
Yeah, it's on heading select. We're going to wait until we get onto that line before we press it. I'm also going to show you a few other things. So see how the airplane is now leveling off? 20,000. Yeah, and see how it's then it's descended slightly. That's right. Now what I'll also show you is that, say for instance, if we wanted to climb up to say 36,000 feet, turn the altitude up to 36,000. So all the way to the right. That's it. That's good, very good. So now at this point it's gradually climbing up, but what we can also do is we can actually set a speed at which it climbs. So just press VS. Now bring this down to say, let's say we want to climb at 1,000 feet per minute. And then what it's going to do is, if you see here, it's going to settle at about 1,000 feet per minute to climb to this speed, this altitude. Now you can also see we're now on that navigational line, so press LNav. See, you look outside. What's the plane doing? It's now turning to follow that nav leg. And from here, all the pilots are basically doing is we're watching these screens, and whenever one of these green text boxes changes, we then call out what we see. So that I'm saying mode control panel speed, lateral navigation, vertical speed, command, and then that'd be me if I was the captain, or you'd read that out as a captain, and then as the first officer, then I would basically read mine in my head, and if I see the same thing, I would say check. Or if I see anything's wrong, I would then say, hang on, we're not meant to be running off the mode control speed, what should it be? And that's basically how the airline pilots actually fly, because their job is really to monitor and ensure that everything's going properly. And yeah, that's basically it. So it's high mental activity, but they sit there looking like they're doing nothing.
So you're saying,
yep,
I just read what's there, and you would confirm that that's what should be there.
Yep, that's exactly right. But you would only read it. You'd read it out, say when it changed. So for example, if you watch those green headings there, and if I press this, so
what, N1,
yep,
LNav,
yep,
VNav, speed,
yep,
command,
check. That's it. So I see that. That's what it's meant to be. That's good. And now it's settled at that. And then if we then wanted to, so that's vertical navigation for 36,000 feet. That's good. And then if it changed again, let's say maybe we went to Hang on a sec. Heading. I'll have a look again now.
So heading select.
That's right. So N1 heading select.
N1 heading select.
VNAV speed
VNAV
command
speed,
and check. So that's just because we've changed the heading select there. But autopilots are just like any computer, you know, susceptible to fault and error. So that's why, in my opinion, it is going to be a while before we have unmanned jets, because you're putting a lot of liability, a lot of responsibility in the hands of a computer. So I should have a career, but you know, anyone after me probably not. All right. So what we'll do now is we're climbing gradually to 36,000 feet. And what you can even do is I'll get you to press VS. Roll this down to 2,000. So, yep, that's good. And what that's doing now is you can see now that's increasing our rate of climb up to 2,000 feet per minute to get there quicker. And
sorry, how do I see that it's increased?
yep, so see up here on the right side, that's the rate.
Arrow,
That's the rate of climb. See, there's an arrow, and then it has a number at the top which says about 1900. Yeah, that's your rate of climb. All right. So what we'll do is for Port Moresby, we're still about 100 miles away. So just in that little exercise, we passed about 50 miles. So what I'm going to do is speed up the cruise rate. And I also need to plan my descent as well, but I'll figure that out in a sec. That's fine. Menu, extras. There we go. So we're on super speed now, 8 times.
8 times what?
8 times 300 knots or 430 ground speed. That's about what, 2,400 miles an hour.
That's
No, actually, more than
Concorde
that.
speed.
More than that, sorry. 8 times 6, that's 6 times 4.
32.
There, 3,200.
36.
Yep.
3,600.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure I don't miss this, because I have actually overshot this before. Okay, so 36,000 feet. If I want to get down at, say, 2,000 feet per minute, it'll take me about 18 minutes. So that means that in 18 minutes at 400 knots,
So you're doing 8 times 235 or whatever.
yeah, ground speed, that's right, yeah. So in 8 minutes. So, okay, so 400 knots, in 6 minutes I'll be passing 40 miles. Yep. So, in about 8 miles, no, that's not right. About 60 miles. Okay, so I need to start descending now. So I'm going to go back to normal speed just to conduct this. So for the descent, now what we're going to do is I'll get you to set the altitude down to 20,000. Obviously in a real plane, in real time speed, you have a bit more time to work that out. In these jets, you actually have it all pre-programmed, so it'll just do it for you. That's it. And now what I'll get you to do is set vertical speed. Yep, VS. And then roll that up, down. So, sorry, forward to the down position to 2,000. That's good. Very good. Now, hopefully we can stay clear of the clouds. We'll see how we go.
Well, the autopilot appears to be performing quite well.
Yeah.
Except you just moved in.
Oh yeah, I did move it actually because I've just put in an approach that gets us in towards the runway on a good landing approach. So what we can even do is I'll bring this to the right slightly just to get us back onto the autopilot. But yeah, it is performing well, definitely without error. So there's just a slight overspeed. So as we descend down, air density obviously increases, which means also that the stresses of high airspeed increase in the airplane. So even though we hadn't actually changed speed, because we changed height, that was the warning saying that we were approaching our structural maximum speed. So that's why I've brought the power back down. So that's why we'd also be descending at a lower speed. So we might say descend at 250 knots. All right. So now that our descent's underway, 1 second. speed right down to 200 knots.
But are we actually doing 293?
We are, that's right, yeah. Yep. So that's our airspeed, and then that's our ground speed. So we're doing close to 500 knots ground speed at the moment, which is about 800 kilometres an hour. 900 kilometres an hour.
About 8.
No, 1.8. 1.8 by...
Oh, 1.8.
Yeah.
Across the ground.
Yep. Yep.
But because of what? Wind?
Yeah, because the airspeed is based on the air molecules hitting the wing and entering the instrument system, the pitot tube. So at height, there is less air per parcel of air, per volume, so per square metre. So because there's less air volume at height, it gives us a different speed or airspeed to when we're on the ground. So the ground speed is actually our physical speed across the ground, whereas the airspeed is based on the air density. It's a little bit confusing, but essentially you could say that we're still doing this speed up here, but our airspeed indicator is giving us that number because there's a lot less air triggering it.
This is a fuel efficiency.
It's an aerodynamic speed. It's an aerodynamic speed. The reason it's important, and the reason we have that error, is that because you need a certain amount of air molecules going across the wing at a certain speed to stay airborne.
Yeah.
That means that if we go high enough, we can be doing the stall speed and still be doing this ground speed. And there's a thing called Devil's Corner, Coffin Corner, where you are so high up that you can't actually go fast enough to not stall, but also your structural speed then it also closes in as well. So you end up at a point where your maximum speed is barely above your stall speed. And it's called Coffin Corner because you can't go fast, you can't go slower. You just got a very narrow envelope to basically stay in the air.
But how high is that? Like 50?
36,000 feet.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So the altitude that the jets actually operate at, yeah, they're pretty close to it.
Huh.
Yeah. So it's all fairly delicate, you know. You've got to make sure you've got the right setup, the right fuel efficiency, the right airplane, decent engines, not too much weight. That's the big thing about weight as well.
So they're almost crashing all the time.
Something like that. Something like that.
Now what's wrong?
I'll just... I'll just wash off that speed for a sec. So again, as we then descend, we then Alright, so we're just circling over Port Moresby now, and what we'll be doing shortly is coming around into land. And we'll So if you look at the map here, we've got Port Moresby just behind us now, so we're just overflying it, continuing our descent down, and we'll basically be coming around so that we come into land like so. It's coming in via that star there.
Sorry, you're coming around to the star.
That's right, yep.
And that's
Correct.
where you're lining up to land.
Yep, that's exactly right, yep. At that point, we're also going to go back to manual control.
What's this?
Oh, that's
shape that's appeared.
yeah, that would be. It's a navigational reference, so that if you were to overfly the airport, you'd want to basically. Oh, I think it's a sector entry. Like you meant to basically join anywhere in this arc here, to then vector around to land, which is roughly what we're going to be doing, except we'll be joining ahead of it. That's just if you want to join at a shorter distance.
All right.
I'm actually surprised they came up because I didn't program that. At least I didn't think I programmed that, but I may have accidentally. Alright, and so coming around now, that's good. And do you want to go back to hand flying it? Yep. So to take over the controls again, what we're going to do is we're going to disengage the autopilot. So press Command B, push that in. That's going to set an alarm off. Yep. And now just cancel the alarm there by just pressing that flashing red light. Very good. You've now got manual control. Just confirm by moving the control column to see that you do actually have control back. There you go. Yep. Very good. Alright, and I'll turn the flight director off for you as well. Yeah, that's alright. All good. Alright, now what we're going to do is I'll get you to make a left turn towards the runway. So we're going to follow this pink arc here to land. That's better. I don't like that pink circle anyway. And I'll get you to arm your auto brakes over to maximum. So just turn it to the right, horizontal. Yep. Yep. That's good. You can actually see the ocean over there too. Port Moresby. And it's okay if we cut the corner and don't go directly over the star. As long as we join smoothly onto final approach, that'll make life easier. And bring your flaps down to 5. Very good. And I think I can actually see the runway out here as well. So see that big green field? The lighter green field just on the other side of the cloud there? So it's just passing on the cloud now. It's a big light green rectangle of land, and you'll see a couple of yellow lights and then the actual runway. So if you just fly over this lake here, that'll take you towards it. Yeah, over there, see that? It's just underneath the cloud. See, there's like a light green field. It's sort of a bit clearer and a bit more open than the rest of it. Push the nose down a bit more. Keep coming down. So it's a bit hard to see under the cloud there. But basically just to the bottom left of that cloud, that's where the runway is. You can see there's one yellow dot of lights.
One dot of something, yeah.
And that's it. you can just start to see the runways coming up now. There's actually 2 of them. We're going to go for the left runway. And what you can even do is just come a little bit more to the right, just so we can line up with the final approach track. And that's it. Come a little bit to the left now. That's it. Just gently, just so we're just sort of planning the arc so that we'll basically turn gently to the left and then center up on the runway. That's good. You can see the 2 runways now.
Yep.
Yep, good. Going for the left one. That's it. They're quite dark and a bit hard to see. They sort of blend in with the green pretty well. Come left a bit more. Keep coming left. And welcome to Port Moresby, ladies and gents.
Looks like an actual place.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Compared to all the trees and mountains we've seen so far.
Although there's still a fair few of them here.
Yeah, but it does look like it's been designed, not just, you know, a made-up, fictitious settlement. And as of before, when you hear 50, that's when you're going to cut the power. So right hand on the thrust levers now. Yep. That's it. And looking outside, keeping centered with that runway there, so come a little bit to the left. That's it. That's good. A little bit to the right, a little bit to the right. Now hold off the power until we're over the runway. And then cut power now. A little bit of left foot just as we touch down. Just not too much, not too much, not too much. That's alright, that's okay, that's okay. And reverse thrusters, go. That's it, a little right foot. Just using your feet for steering, just relax, that's good. Oh, a little bit of grass cutting, that's okay. And reverse thrusters disengage. And I'll bring your foot brakes on. Nicely done. Welcome to Port Moresby.
Nicely done.
Cool, alright. So, from this point, what do you guys want to do? I've got there's 3 more airports that we talked about. One was basically the airstrips around Nepal and Bhutan. Another one was Kai Tak, Hong Kong, and then also St. Martin. So, what did you want to do, Stephen? Did you want to do...
Go to Nepal.
Nepal? Yep, sounds good to me. This is a fun one. This is the one I wasn't meant to show you. Yeah. Alright. VNLK. VNLK. This is like out of one of those videos you see on YouTube and you just think that's ridiculous. And normally you see it with a light aircraft. You don't see it with a heavy passenger jet. Facing the wrong way.
Oh gosh.
I'll fix that up. It's facing the wrong way. That gives you one perspective, and then this gives you the other perspective. Alright.
That looks a bit better.
Yeah, not much better. Okay, so I'm just going to go into the nav computer to get my... In fact, initially you're just going to be basically...
Trying to get off the ground.
Yeah, something like that.
And stay off the ground.
Yeah, you'll find that there won't be a problem with getting off the ground.
It's just not hitting it again.
Correct. Alright. So as you can see, this is actually a dirt strip. Now, although it looks like there's a mountain here at the end of it, that's a display slightly to the right and ahead. It's on the other side of our landing strip, our takeoff strip. So what I'll do
is there a valley at the end of the runway?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you know what we're going to do, don't you?
We're going to go off the end.
Correct. And we're not going to have... We won't be at V1 when we go off the end. We're less than V1, which is why you're not going to do this. So what I'll get you to do, Stephen, is bring your power to 40% initially, and then once we're stable at 40, go full. Hit full power, go.
Are you going to simulate an engine failure on this one?
Won't make a difference if I did. Full power, go. Yep, that's it. All right, keep your right on there in case we do simulate an engine failure. You can see it's really good surface, so we're quite bumpy.
Yeah, I can feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. Trigger the eyes, right? Alright, and we're going to be going off the edge of this. And it's going to click, don't worry. And then nose forward, nose forward, nose forward. Okay, and now pull up. Gently pull up, turn to the left there towards the valley. And you actually are flying.
Downwards.
Gear up. That's it. No, sorry, we're climbing now. That's
Hey!
good. See?
Look at that.
And then just, we're not in Papua New Guinea anymore, so you can go through clouds, but push forward, don't go too steep. That's good.
We've just taken off, you silly bugger.
It's good. And lower the nose back to 10 degrees. And now I'll get you to make a turn to the left, turning towards this solid pink line here. Yeah, it's a pretty cool runway.
Yeah, nice little takeoff.
Yeah, it's a little Easter egg. All right, so we're going to be climbing up and cruising at. How far? This one's a lot closer, and it's amazing. This one just so happened to be just down the road from my favourite runway. So it's only about the same distance as before, but we'll speed it up. We're not going to go as high this time, so I'm going to get you up to 15,000 feet, or as high as we needed to keep clear of this terrain. But this approach is pretty crazy. Yeah, you'll see. 08.4. Okay. And then lower the nose now. Bring it down to and roll to the right now, leveling out. And I'll get you to intercept that solid pink line. So just, yeah, that's good. That's good. And then roll to the right. And I'll now get you to engage the autopilot. Or do you want to keep your hand flying it for a bit?
Yeah,
Actually, no. Just pull up a little bit, just to wash off that speed. That's good, cool. All right. And then come to the right a little bit. So we are in Nepal right now. You can see the Himalayas round about. And lower the nose now. Back down to 3.5 degrees just to hold 16,000 feet. Raise the nose, pull up a little bit. All right. I'm going to make it interesting for you. There's ×2. There's ×4. And again, not meant to do this without the autopilot on, so you don't notice the effects of a fighter jet.
Yeah.
So come around to the right, you'll find the wheel, intercept it fairly quickly. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be actually veering around to the right slightly. So I'll set my heading bug now to about there. So we now want to follow the broken pink line. This is going to maneuver us around so that we are in a good position to approach for the particular arrival we're going to use, which is pretty cool. Yep. It's good. Just lower the nose onto the horizon. We'll try and capture 16,000 feet altitude, but still just stay clear of these hills. That could be Mount Everest, but I'm not sure. It's big, whatever it is.
We're very close to it.
Yeah, that's right. So this is the real version of flying over Mount Kosciuszko. Lower the nose. Follow it just on the horizon there, that's good. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be conducting an approach that you'd normally use if there were full clouds, an instrument approach. And with this particular one, we actually are descending very, very steeply above 2 or 3 ridge lines. And you'll find that when we get to this one particular ridge, we're going to go over the top of it. You'll have an arrow, which actually looks like this, pointing towards the ridge, or a station on it. And when we go over the top and that arrow swings, that's when we can then continue nose straight down and start aiming towards the runway. And it's very fast. I'm going to have to pull out all the flaps and drag surfaces to slow us down. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's up there compared to what we've been doing so far. I'm going to bring back the speed soon. And just to give you a bit of situational awareness, you see, just raising it a little bit. Oh. There we go. Okay. So see this station here? I'm going to get back at normal speed. There we go. All right. So see how we've got the runway there, which is that little set of parallel lines there with the extended center line either side.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're going to be flying around to the south of it, and then to the right, and then coming into land. Now the way we're going to do that is that we're actually going to fly over this green station here, which is that ridge I was talking about. And you can see the arrows pointing towards it. So we'll be basically maneuvering around the outside of it, turning to the left until we fly over the top of it. Once we fly over the top of that station, that arrow is going to still point towards it and swing pointing to the rear. And then between that green station there and the runway, we're going to be bunding the nose down and descending very rapidly. Okay?
So when do we start turning to it?
What I'll do is we're going to first, to do the approach properly, we're actually going to turn towards, hang on a second, yeah, Tuck D. So we're going to turn towards that first, that triangle directly ahead of us. And just to make it for ease of use, we can even turn slightly to the right of it, there, and so that way we have enough room to actually turn around. So we'll be basically yeah, that's it, heading just to the south of Tuck D, and then as we turn left to Tuck D, it'll then give us a nice arc around to the left to head towards the Paro navigational aid. Roll to the right a bit more. Just back on that pink line. That's good. Now, just to give you an idea, where we're landing, it actually has the same elevation as Mount Kosciuszko. So, engine performance, airplane performance will be quite low. what we'll do is just raise the nose a little bit. I think we need to be about this height but no lower, because we'll need to manoeuvre between these mountain ranges here, but it's going well. And what you're going to do is I'm going to let you turn early because we're visual, so we don't need to follow the instrument approach procedure strictly just yet until the weather deteriorates. So I'm going to get you now to turn left, and if you turn left now, you will actually draw a cross tuck T, then towards the station. So start turning left now. And good, yeah, just keep an eye on those hills. Alright, good. Sometimes it's nice to actually know someone's talking to you. You go flying out long enough and it gets kind of lonely out there and you think, oh, I wonder if anyone knows where I am.
Yeah.
Big sky country.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And in terrain like this, you want to make sure they do know where you are.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Exactly right. Alright, so continue straight ahead, a bit more to the right now. So what I want you to do is we've got to fly towards the station here. So turn right towards the green dot there. Turn hard right now. So we're going to be over to the right of this ridge here. And what you'll actually find is the edge of this mountain here. That's where that station is. And then once we're over the top of that, then we can actually descend towards the runway, which is out... Oh. Out to the left of it. That's it. So the idea is that, oh, see ahead of us here, see how the mountain is fairly low ahead of us there, but high to the left. We pass over that ridge, and then once this arrow swings, that indicates that station is there and we're clear of that ridge, which would be ideal if we were in cloud. And then we're going to turn left towards the runway, which is going to be out in the valley here, which you'll see shortly. And once you get clear, once you get passage, so this green arrow, I'll show you Justin as well, swings, then I want you to push the nose positively forward, down towards the runway. And there's the runway there. See that over there in the valley?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yep, that's our descent. So watching for this, once that swings, turn towards, nose down towards the runway, and I'm going to get your drag surfaces out.
So what's happening to it?
It's coming. It's coming. There it is, got passage, yep, okay. So turn towards the runway, nose down, flaps coming out, 5, gear down, setting approach speed, 130, flaps 10. So you can raise the nose a little bit, that's a good start. Keep the runway just about 1/3 up from the bottom of the windshield, and see how the ridge kicks up to the left here? You're going to still need to be able to go across that, so just aim to the left so that you can then set yourself up on a good final approach track for the runway. Now we're carrying a lot of speed, so holding that nose up a little bit now is okay. Come across to the left a little bit more, I'm going to bring out our speed brakes, and now push the nose down, push the nose down. That's it, that's good. And then it's sort of you're sort of stuffed either way. You could Go down too quickly, you get too much speed. Go, stay up too long, and then you won't make it.
What's
so
the rate of
right
descent?
here. Rate of descent, 6,000 feet per minute. And raise the nose, pull up a little bit. So we've got to clear this ridge. That's good. So ideally you want about 2,000 feet per minute, which is what it is right now. So that was 6,000 when you called out.
Yeah.
Push forward a little bit, just gently. And auto brake set, speed brake armed. Got our speed, pull up a little bit, turn left a bit. Turn left a bit more, that's it. And your right hand on the thrust lever, sir. Right hand over here, that's it. At 50 feet, you know what to do. Pull up a little bit. That's it. Cut power. A little bit of left foot. That's it. Let it settle, let it settle. That's it. And then reverse thrusters, go. That's good. Good. That was very good. Have you got your toe brakes on?
Hey?
That's right. I think the toe brakes we put on, and that actually disengages the auto brakes.
Oh. We just ran off the one way.
So, yeah, with that, I think what happened was that the auto brakes are on. The one thing I didn't explain is that if we engage our toe brakes, that actually disengages the auto brakes, and the auto brakes are the best braking force we can use. So I think as a good instinct, I think you might have jabbed your toe brakes in just as we touched down.
Yeah.
And it could have even happened while you were turning, so that's all right. You're not the first and you won't be the last to have done that. But yeah, that was a good landing otherwise. With the auto brakes functioning, we would have actually pulled up well before the end of it, so that's fine. Cool. Alrighty. So all that leaves now is really St. Martin and Hong Kong.
What does Justin want to do that?
Do you want to have a crack?
Oh, you do your Hong Kong.
No, you can do that. Come on. You have a go.
All right, we'll give it a go.
Well done, Stephen. Nicely done. Yeah. Glad you like it. And I'll get the seat for you. There you go. There you go. Cool. Just watch your head on the switches. Yeah, that's right. Welcome to the flight deck, Captain. Does. Alright, so just make yourself comfortable. There's a little, there's the switch at the back, the handle at the back right of your seat, which is how you're going to bring your seat forward. I've just got to